bands on my braces. Kriya's gonna be filling in. Hello. Well, welcome to first ever Fat Pig Party! Whoa! Hey! Ow! No confetti for you. Whoa! Whoa! Anyway, enjoy our first bid. You caught that on tape?
Well, this is Michaela, and I'm sorry if the camera stuff doesn't really work out. I'm kind of new at this and stuff. So, enjoy your next bid. You caught that on tape.
I was going to, do this thing for Michaela, but I was kind of embarrassed. And I want you to tell me it's okay. Okay, let me hear it. Alright. This is Michaela, and I'm a Vista. We do a web show. It's called Fat Pig. When people watch it, they go, pop, pop, fizza, fizza, ooh. What is it?
That was good. You want to show the potty there?
Yeah, let's show the podcast. Okay. Knee in, hand, cross, waddle, away.
Well, that was nice.
Michaela?
Hi.
Michaela!
Who's supposed to cheer me up? That made me cry.
Anyway, we're gonna leave you guys to think about that, and here's our next bid. Messing with Amanda.
Well, that was supposed to cheer me up, not make me cry. But anyway, check out our next bid. I hope it cheers you guys up.
What? You touched the cupcake! I did it! Hey, you ate my cupcake! Hey,
You guys, the cupcake's up there! It's okay, Amanda. I feel sorry for my little sister. It's kind of bad that they had to put her through that. But anyway, on the bright side, we still have a web show. Here's Fat Pig.
Now that we're partying, we're gonna enjoy our next bit. Messing with Amanda 2. Here we go.
Well, they're gonna do another messing with Amanda. I hope it doesn't make her cry this time, or do anything physical to her. But anyways, here it is.
Cupcake for you.
Thank you.
Cupcake for Amanda.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
Cupcake for me. Kayla, you get your cupcake later. Take a big bite.
Delicious.
You like your toenail cupcake?
That was really sad, you guys. It's like, wow, I can't believe that they would have done that to my little sister. It's okay, Amanda, I love you. Anyways, back to Fat Pig.
Even though Michaela said she's innocent, it was her toenails too. Anyway,